Hey, welcome back everybody. Thank you so much for dropping by, and today what we're going to do, part 2 of food labeling. Yeah, you guys been waiting for so long for it, like a few months right now, because I covered everything in French and I'm coming back into English. Sorry about that, and sorry for the delay. And without any delay, let's cover what we see on our food every day when we go to the store. That it's bread, milk, nuts, you name it. We get that same standard food label on our food to tell us how much we're going to consume in such a different portion, like what we talked about in part 1. But before we move forward, guys, help out this channel. Move forward and have YouTube give more visibility on it. Please subscribe to help me out. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and hit that bell to give you notification, next time I decide to post part 3 of this, because I think it's out of 4 parts, this labeling. So it'll help you to, they'll send you a quick notification saying, hey, part 3 is being posted, or Xia has posted something. So let's cover this. This is the standard. Moving forward, let's take a look at the fats. So again, moving downwards, we're going to cover the total fats, saturated fats, and talk about those. We see in, especially bread, we do see saturated, we see monosaturated, and we see polyunsaturated. The best fat really is monosaturated. It's like comes from sources from olive oils, nuts, seeds, avocados. What monosaturated does is lower your LDL cholesterol and maintains the high HDL. So basically, good cholesterol gives you 13% of energy back in your body. Who doesn't want that? Give me 10%, I'll be happy. Polyunsaturated, well, 1 bond, 2 bonds, they do come with omega-6 and omega-3 as much. Yes, the omega-3 is good. You'll get the walnut, soya bean, flax oil. Hopefully it is organic and non-GMO, which other videos will talk about that. And you do get the omega-6 oils, sunflower, safflower, which are not the best, but you need omega-6. It's a carrier, but you need less. Your ratio to omega-3 to omega-6 has to be higher. Again, that's something we should be able to talk about later on in the inflammation video series. So just keep an eye on that. And for saturated fats, well, there's single bond, short chain, medium chain, and long chain. Medium and long are being known as in coconut. And for a long time, they had a bad rap until a lot of university studies did prove that the medium and long chain were actually good fats. But what we hear and what we take and what we intake from the food is mostly, the short chain, which that's not too good for your body because it's solid as room temperature. It takes a long time to get eliminated from your body. It eliminates your energy by, your body working out to get rid of it. So they're not the best of fats to intake. So you gotta stay away from those as much as possible. Moving forward, cholesterol. There's good and there's bad cholesterol, like we just talked about. The good HDL cholesterol, made out, it's a little waxy substance, but it passes through the blood. But it helps with your hormones. Your testosterone for men, women as much, but for men, creation of muscles a little bit faster, and we know the rest. Vitamin D, and helps keep our arteries clean. You could get them from what you see, these good fats, from avocados, fish, olive oil, nuts. What we see that, on the market, which is well known as good fats. We have our bad fats, which contribute to raise our LDL, sorry, not the HDL, or bad cholesterol levels, and will cause inflammation in our body. So when you do take a look at your label, and if you do have a chance to see it, make sure that at least the HDL and LDL levels, the HDL is higher, meaning make sure your omega-3 to your omega-6 ratios are higher. The omega-3 is higher than the omega-6. You may have some monosaturated fats in there, which are going to be a lot higher, which will come and unbalance the bad negative omega-6. But you can't really call it bad because you do need some. It's a carrier, like I said. It carries many things, which I will get into again into the inflammation video series in there, but not in here. Two types of vitamins which we do take. I just want to cover this really quickly. There's A, D, E, and K, which do need good fats to get to where they want to go. But they're like, the fat is the travel thing. And water is good for vitamin B and C. So I just want to shoot that out there. A, D, E, and K. Yeah, if you're taking a vitamin E, just make sure that you had some good fats, or you have some good, take nuts along with it, or you ate something with fat to be able to carry your vitamins where they're supposed to go. Quick example, omega vitamins, ideal to take if you don't have enough. Yeah, again, this is for inflammation video, but I'll cover it really quickly. If you see you ate too much omega-6 during your day, an omega-3 would be good to balance out the ratio. But again, the best way to do it is reduce your intake of omega-6 compared to your omega-3 in your food. Just, review your food, take a look at it. Make sure that you're eating proper so you don't have to take, you'll probably never have to take omega-3s if you ever do that. But some days are, we don't eat fish or we don't have enough omega-3s and it was unbalanced in our diet. There's a good time to take one of those extra supplements of omega-3s. Where can we find them? Flax seeds. Flax seeds are great replacements for omega vitamins. But if you're a man, you want to reduce on flax seeds, they're good. For women, no problem. But as for men, the level of estrogen in the flax seeds is a little bit high, so it may come in and contradict or conflict with your testosterone. So if that's not something that we want. If we're young, no problem. But as you get older, your testosterone levels do lower, and you want to be careful on that. What you may want to replace it as is chia seeds. Yes, you may, there's a 0 missing. It's 70 to 80%. Sorry about that. Less absorb. That's why you may want to take something like a coffee grinder and grind them to a pulp, as they just come out as dust, and put them in your cereal, put them in your yogurt. But there's a quantity which you should limit yourself to about half a tablespoon, for a good quantity of yogurt or cereal bowl or whatever you want to put them in, and not too much into that day because they kind of bulk up in your gut, and as they bulk up, they just drag everything along with it, and they do, that's the right word, may stop absorption of your vitamins and your minerals. So you don't want to take a big quantity. Okay, so just keep it as that and remember that. Just half a tablespoon is just good enough. Moving forward, salt. I was surprised to see, like in Canada, we're like, 36 million? 14,000 deaths just because of salt alone. In the US, they're 10 times more than us, 360 million and still growing. So add another 0 to that, we're talking about 140,000 deaths just on damn salt. Where this all started is like in Canada, I remember, because cold temperature, preservatives of the food, they used to add a lot of salt to it. And it took a long time for them to just to remove it because, hey, you know, it's like you're taking cereals and you got like so much salt in there. Like, guys, your soups got like 1,000 milligrams of salt. Now, with time, we're starting to see more and more foods are have less salt and no salt at all, which is great. Finally, it's about time. But Academy Nutrition of Dietetics, even World Health Organization just says, hey, limit your salt between 1,500 and 2,300 milligrams per day, and you're going to be fine. You know, you won't have that. It won't raise your how would I say that? Your high blood pressure, because it does contribute in a little bit higher blood pressure. What is the difference in salt and taking? Oh yeah, yeah. Why not? I'm gonna put that on. I'm gonna just throw that on you, and we'll come back to it later. If you weigh 100 pounds or you weigh 350 pounds, should your salt intake vary depending on your weight, like protein does, or other, you know, minerals and vitamins that we see? Think of it and just keep it behind. I'll come back to it. Well, what I use is, after studying so many different types of salt, I like to stay around and use the real salt. Why? From where it comes from, you know, it's like written here, anthropogenic pollution on the earth, eruptions. It was on a certain place in Utah, in North America, which they just like, it all dried away, and there's a whole bunch of salt there. They just scratch off the top and, you know, dig right into it. It's almost pure salt, you know, with the right quantity of sodium in it. So I mean, yeah, that's why they call it real salt. Then there's the other one, which is called Celtic sea salt. Again, before I continue, salt is salt. Okay, it's just the impurities in them. The molecule of salt, if you take a look at it, it's going to be the same thing everywhere. Okay, it's the quantity of sodium that's in it, sodium salt or whatever it is, and the impurities. Take in France. Yeah, Celtic salt offers trace amounts of minerals, is lower in sodium and than regular table salt. Summary: Celtic salt itself has a light grayish color and is almost moist. Where they do it, it's a good salt. But just the thing of saying from France and it's made from seawater and contains traces of minerals, you could get it at Walmart. I wrote the places where you could go get it. Why I stick away from there, it's like in World War I or II, when the war was finished, they dumped millions and millions of those chemical bombs in the ocean. And not too far from the reef, or, you know, the edge of where they are, beaches. And now only these chemical bombs are starting to degrade and going into the, you know, the ocean. They say in a documentary I've seen is like it won't be fishable in 10 years if they don't do something about it, because of all the chemical mustard poison into it that's giving off into the water. So if they're taking the salt not too far from there, I don't want to know anything of it. So I'm sticking away from that. I'll go for the re-salt, but I'm just putting it out there because, yeah, it's a good salt. It's been known as a good salt, and still impurities are not all there yet, but I think it's gonna get there soon. Carbohydrates, also called carbohydrate, mainly, hey, get sugar and starch. If you're taking a look at simple carbs will raise your GI. Best is to eat the complex carbs instead, so it keeps a better energy. As GI glycemic index, I'll get to that in the second slide a little bit later. I'll explain about it, but basically carbs you find in white bread, you know, made from white flour, it's simple starch. it's going to raise that GI all the way. And if you take a complex one, it's going to keep your energy level for a long time. Again, like I said, I'll explain that a little bit more. Foods high in carbohydrates, bread, pasta, beans, potatoes, rice, grains. 1 gram of carbohydrates, just had to put it out there, 4 calories, because protein may be different as fibers in the number of calories. High glycemic index GI carbohydrates enter the bloodstream rapidly as glucose. Sugar switches to a low GI, improves the chances of healthier weight and lifestyle, and for your heart too. So next slide should cover it. Fibers. There are 2 types of fiber, insoluble and soluble fiber. Soluble, it's fibers that you find in food and you just digest. Insoluble fiber you'll find in food also, and usually they tell you on the label. But insoluble fiber, many of them will tell you it's something you don't digest and simply passes through. I'm sorry, but after the recent studies, is this true or not? No, it isn't. It's 50-50. The rule of the latest studies show that this insoluble fiber, most of them, and a big majority of them, 50% of them you will digest and 50% you will not in 1 gram of insoluble fiber. Why am I saying that? Yeah, you're still getting that fiber, but you're still getting calories. So there's a lot of insoluble fiber and you think you're not getting calories, you're wrong. You will. Sugar. Recommended 25 to 30 grams of per day. If you could reduce it, please do. Stick at 20 or 25. You'll see it's very hard because sugar is all over the place. It's like every day you turn around, they seem to open or have created another sugar that's worse for you. Did I cover it? Yeah, okay. There you go, GI. A high GI, let me take my mouse and show you here what's in red. Like bread, white bread. You take it, there's a high GI, high sugar in there. It'll give you that peak of energy, but you will fall fast. And it's bad for your organs. Everything's working overtime. We know that's how you become diabetes. You become insulin resistant after a while, and you create that diabetes in your with your cells. Low GI will increase your sugar, but not too high, but will maintain a little bit longer and then drop down slowly. So it won't have that same toxic effect on your organs and your body, and will give you a little bit more energy a little bit longer. Sugar, covering the GI. Remember, there's different levels of glycemic index. Well, anything that's 55 and lower, less or poor, is good. Poor should not even be there. It should be good. 55 to 69, medium. 70 and over, it's high. It's very bad for your body. Different type of sugars. Agave syrup. For a long time, they would say, hey, glycemic index is 15 on there. Yeah, okay, but if you take a look, 80% of what you take in agave syrup is 80% sucralose. So it's as bad. It's fructose, basically. Maple syrup, 54. So it's under 55. It's good. It's not what you find in the table syrup in the restaurants, which is like full of sugar in there. It's just an added artificial taste to make it look like maple syrup. So it's not the real maple syrup, which you find in a can, you buy at a store, comes directly from, where they do, they do it. Black strap molasses, 55 to 60. Still good, but, getting into the medium part. White sugar is base 64, so it's a medium. Brown sugar, well, brown sugar, we know it's white sugar with just a little bit of molasses to change the color, but it's basically white sugar. Sucralose, or sucrose, 68, getting high. Honey varies from 40 to 85. Average honey that you will buy in a good, healthy restaurant, healthy store, could vary from about an average of 58. But yes, some honeys, depending on what they put in it, do vary from 40, and some will go all the way to 85. So you just have to be careful what you buy. One cup, 250 millimeters of orange juice. Varies from 66 to 76. Yeah, one glass of orange juice could take what, 4 or 5 oranges to make and squeeze out. You don't have any fiber, you don't have the rest in it to help you get rid of it or better absorb slowly. You just have the pure sugar of the fruit. So yeah, it does bring your GI pretty high. So I can't remember the last time I had an orange juice. It's been a long time ago. So again, this is to remember. These is the GI to remember. Okay, maple syrup 55, honey varies from 40 to 85, honey 58 in average. Is there a benefit in replacing honey with sugar that may affect your blood sugar? Well, beside very low amounts of antioxidants and phenols, it's all about taste. You know, 1 teaspoon of honey contains 64 calories. Maple syrup will contain 52 calories. While both are very high in sugar, maple syrup contains less fructose. At fructose, it's all about fructose. Since fructose has a very negative effect on your heart, and you know, maple syrup is a little bit healthier in that department because of that. Yeah, fructose, not the best of sugars, to tell you the truth. Even though you'll see the GI index is very low. Go to that. Oh no, it's going to be the next one. Honey versus sugar. As you could see, honey has 50% fructose. Sugar does also. Glucose, the same thing. But yeah, you'll have these little vitamins of what it may have more, but we're talking, you know, grains, magnesium, 2 milligrams when you need 100,000, 1,000 more than that, you know. So yeah, if you make a choice between honey and sugar, yeah, go for honey, definitely. Here we go. This great table that I was able to put down, you know, take down. As you could see, black strap molasses starts at 55. All the rest up here should stay very far away. Maltose, dextrose, which we see, dextrose, we see a lot in our food. Sucrose, sugar. Honey, 50. But again, fructose, 25. You're gonna say, well, fructose not that bad. Agave, 15. As the, you know, sucralose instead that we said, yeah. Fructose, 25. It's not bad. It's just the way that fructose acts on your body. It's made like some of these alcohol, you know, sugar that have 5, 2, 1 will trick your body in thinking you're getting a lot of sugar, so you'll create insulin, and in reality, you're not even getting sugar. So that insulin's going all over the place. After a while, with time, this is when our body becomes insulin resistant. But a subject for another time. So, but fructose, I'm going to cover it right away. Fructose causes like 5 to 7 times as much cell damage than glucose does, because it binds to our cellular proteins 5 to 7 times faster and releases about 100 times, and maybe more or maybe less, oxygen radical. We've seen that what radicals are in my hydrogen for water. Not a good thing if it keeps that much of radicals into your body for you to fix. Diabetes, estimated by 2030, it should be 1 out of 3 people. Today, children is 1 out of 4. Wow. Health Canada allows a 20% label error, which is, I believe, it's very problematic for people with diabetes. You know, you're looking at your label, you think you took this much during the day, you know, maximum 25, which you're supposed to take, but you took 20% more, because all during the day, the label is off by 20%. That's, I could see how that could be a pain for somebody who's diabetes. And again, for children, 1 out of 4 today. Is it the children's fault? No. Is it the parents' fault? Yes and no, because it's just a lack of knowledge, basically. You know, if parents just have to take the time to listen, hey, that's why I do these videos. You know, it's just like to help as many parents as I can, many people out there that I can. So this could help benefit their family, kids, And parents could go out there and say, okay, if I remember this, you cannot take more than this. We'll be more careful on salt. We'll be more careful on fat. And it's going to be healthy for everybody. Am I at the right place? Yeah. Bad, not recommended sugars. Cane sugar. I thought for a long time that cane sugar was going to be good, but it destroys your gut bacteria. Gives you that bloating effect, which is not that good. Xylitol destroys the good bacteria in your body again, which is about the same thing. You feel bloated. Not a good sugar to eat. Anything that's pasteurized honey, stay away. Go for the real one. Raw agave nectar, rich in fructose, which we mentioned, gives you will bring you to after a while, in a long time, will bring you to insulin resistance. And we know that agave, I just mentioned a while ago, it's 80% fructose. Brown sugar is basically white sugar with molasses. Splenda, chemically made sugar called sucralose. Stay away from that. And equal, a chemically made sugar called aspartame. You know, it's like, goes in your tongue. Like I said, your body says, oh, that's a lot of sugar. I got to create insulin. But there's no sugar there. It's just to give you a fake feeling of, you know, wow, it's good, it's tasty. But it's bad for your body. Good, monk fruit sweetener, which you see on the top right, but very expensive. 300 times sweeter than sugar. So you gotta be careful in the way. You can't take 1 teaspoon and put it in your coffee. No, it doesn't work that way. But you know what I liked about this best sugar on the market is like it reduces inflammation. It doesn't create inflammation like all these sugars up here. Stevia extract, better liquid before powder. Yeah, if you can, take it in liquid format than powder format. It takes some, used to, but yeah, it's pretty good. Not too much because it will have a laxative effect. Also increases your sodium excretion, which is great. If you had too much salt that day, you eat something with stevia or take a coffee with stevia. It's great. It'll help eliminate a bit of that salt in your body. And the one we use is coconut palm sugar. Has a low GI. It's high in zinc and iron. Bottom right and top left is as good. So guys, just remember those. Those are the ones I suggest. What is good too? Raw honey, good. Organic maple syrup and blackstrap masses, which those fall underneath the recommended, but are still good. Protein. Yeah, basically body needs from 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per kilogram of your weight. Unless you're an athlete and you need much more than that. But as we get older, the way we absorb our protein is a lot less. So it should be at least 1.2 grams per kilogram of your weight when you're starting to go over 14. So basically, if I'm 180 pounds, I multiply by 2.2 gives me 81 kilo. That's how much I weigh. Multiply by 1.2 grams of protein gives me about 98 grams of protein I should eat every day. And take note, if you eat only vegetables and grains, which are written protein on it, you may not have a complete protein, which I will explain in one of my protein videos. Okay, it's very important to have the complete protein and not a partial protein. Okay, so here's a percentage that we see on the right hand side. Now they're going to start putting some for protein and sugar, and I don't know how they could do that because it doesn't make sense. Everybody's different. But what is it based on? If we take a look, sodium 20%, potassium 20%, here 10% carbohydrates, vitamin, calcium 20% for that type of serving, let's say. This is all based on a certain number of calories that you could eat per day. Basically, the standard on North American is based on a 2,000 calorie per day. Well, I eat 2,800 calories per day. So right now, 18% of fat has just become maybe 12% for me, or less, because I eat a lot more, maybe even a little bit less. But it's first time I see here 2,000 calories, 2,500 calories. And coming back to that sodium question, salt question that I had before for you, what if you weigh 100 pounds or you weigh 300 pounds? Does it change? Cholesterol and sodium are the only ones that, well, in this list, that doesn't change. If you weigh 100 pounds or you weigh 1,000 pounds, it doesn't matter. You should limit your cholesterol to 300 milligrams and your sodium to 2,400 milligrams per day. I still stick to 1,500 and less, but you see how this does not vary. The rest, no problem. The fat will vary as per your calorie intake that you take per day and that you need to survive. Your carbohydrates, your fibers will increase, all that. So taking account in that and knowing how much calories you need per day. If you're 5'6" like my wife, 120 pounds, hey, you'll require about 2,000 calories in your day, and it's going to be sufficient. Me, I need more. So these factors don't count for me, but they have to follow a standard on the market. As you could see here, the number of calories required per day as you age. All right, let's go for males. Okay, you're 19 or 20 years old. You require from 24 to 2,600 calories. As you get older, you see the calories start going down, 51 and less. You're 22 instead of 26. You're already 400 calories lower if you don't do anything. If you're moderate active, well, you're still seeing a 400 calorie difference as from 20 years old to 50 and over. How about active? Well, active, there's a little bit less difference, but still 200. Let's take moderate active like we all are. We do some exercise, we do move 3 times a week for most of us. We're taking a look at from 20 years old to 50. I'm 60 and over. You're talking about 400 calories less. Now, take 400 calories, multiply that for 365 days, okay? Divide that by about 4,000 calories, 3,500 to 4,000 calories. That's 37 pounds less in a year. But still, can you imagine all these calories that you had when you were 20 years old, up to 30, and everything was fine, but you were taking up to 37 pounds of calories that you were absorbing the vitamins and minerals from, and now you're cutting that off every day. You're cutting off 400 calories of vitamins and minerals in your food if you're eating really nicely that you're not absorbing. And you know what? As we grow older, we're missing these vitamins and minerals. We lack them. We can't take, or we don't produce them anymore. And you're asking me to cut down on them? Yeah, because you're getting fatter. No, you're getting fatter because you don't move. You don't do exercise. It'd be great to absolutely just do the exercise to burn it off and maintain those calories. I know I maintain the 2,800 calories, but I work out almost as much as I can every 2 days. And I stay at my 33 to 32, 34 waist. That's where it is, and I maintain my weight. And you maintain the muscle mass. That's important because, the other videos I did in French was, and some in English, I covered protein, I covered glucosamine. I'm going to be covering vitamins and minerals. But all these things we're starting to lack. And how do we produce them? Well, in covering or eating the right amount of minerals and vitamins in our food. But if we're going to cut that off, it's not any better. I just want to put that out there. I'll be covering more in detail as I cover every vitamin in the future. Here's a pocket guide which you should take into account when you go to the store. Anything higher for sugars than 5 grams in your package or on your package, is low, medium, 5-15, and anything higher than 15 is high. I gotta say, if you're trying to keep under 20 to 25 grams of sugar per day, it's gonna be pretty tough. You'll see how hard that is. I've been maintaining mine at 20 grams and less, but sometimes it's almost boring the way to eat. So I keep the 80-20 rule. 80 I eat really, really tight or very good, and 20% on the weekend I kind of cheat a bit. You know, you have to please yourself sometimes because then it gets too boring. Fat, saturated, salt, you got them all there. Let's take a last example here. 2 cookies. Fat 5 grams, fat 9 grams. Let's go up in the chart. Let's take a look. Fat 5 and 9. They're both in the medium, but one has almost twice the amount. Yes, 25 grams and 34 grams. You gotta take that into account in the cookies. So there's 2 cookies weigh a little bit more. Take a look at the sodium. 70, 105. Salt. Come back down. 70 milligrams is, yeah, they're both over here in the green, so it's good. Sugar, 9 grams, 11 grams. Sugar, 9 grams, perfect, 11 grams. Again, much higher if you eat those 2 cookies. Sorry, coming back. But basically, if you had to choose, you know, choose the one that's less cookies and less fat, less salt, less sugar especially. But that's not even what I look at. First of all, I wouldn't even eat this because enriched wheat flour, sugar, vegetable oil, not expeller pressed, not organic, not GMO. So the worst oil you could take. Modified palm oil, even worse than the vegetable oil. Glucose, fructose. Do I have to carry on? Look at this guy. It's like, I won't even go through that. But basically, if I had to choose the worst, the best out of the worst, would be the one on the left because of the lower ingredients that they have than this one, which just seems to be full of it. So, guys, I think that's it. Yeah, part 3 as soon as I get a chance. And thank you so much. If you found this useful for somebody who has trouble reading labels or understanding the labels, feel free to share. Thank you and have great New Year's.